Hi everyone, my name is Jasleen Pena, and the question I decided to do my research on was describe the different payment models used to reimburse providers for care. How do these payment models impact cost and quality of care? And then, based on my research, what payment model results in the best outcome? So, starting off with episodic care, this is when the hospital is given a certain amount of money to treat a patient's condition, whatever they were diagnosed with. The hospital, let's say diabetes, for example, the hospital is given a certain amount of money to treat that condition. And then whatever money the hospital or the doctors don't use, it isn't given to the doctors. And that is how their doctors receive their income. So the system allows for better care coordination, which can lower expenses. And since they are only granted a specific amount of money to use for the patient's care, again, whatever remaining will go to the healthcare providers. So although this can save patients a lot of money, the quality of care is questionable only because we don't live in a perfect world, but doctors can withhold treatment for selfish reasoning, such as like they want to receive more money. So sometimes treatments can be withheld. Lastly, I put a quote here from a man named C.Y. Coe, and I have the website linked in my reference page, but it was very informative, and this quote stood out to me. Moving on to fee-for-service. So fee-for-service is when there is a separate charge for each procedure done to the patient. So anything that the doctor does to help treat the patient anyway, the patient will need to pay for. And what actually helped me remember this was there was a PowerPoint, or in the PowerPoint slides, it gave an example and described it as like when you go to the grocery store, you must pay for each individual item that you need or want. And with this form of payment, it can incentivize over treatment because the more procedures you do means the more money the doctors can make. And actually, in 2018, it was shown that doctors received 70% of their total revenue using this payment method. So while fee for service has its advantages in terms of accessibility and clear reimbursement, it is also associated with challenges related to overutilization, quality of care, and cost containment. Oops, forgot to move on to this page, but this is my impact, cost, and quality of care. Moving on to pay for performance. So pay for performance is very similar to fee for service. It is, again, the patient is charged for every procedure done. But the difference is if the patient is readmitted, meaning if the patient comes back to the hospital, then the hospital has to pay a fee. So their goal is to reduce costs by providing quality care. And let's take a scenario. So if a healthcare provider is rewarded financially for achieving a high rate of a certain vaccination among their patient population, this incentive encourages the provider to proactively offer vaccinations, leading to increased preventative care. But a con with this is that there have been studies and actual cases that have been shown that pay for performance can harm and reduce access for socioeconomically disadvantaged populations. So providers who treat a higher percentage of low-income patients, these patients will not perform as well on this payment method and are then incentivized to avoid treating them. All right. Lastly, best outcome. So out of the three payment models that I just mentioned, the best outcome would be episodic care model. It has been demonstrated that this strategy reduces expenses and it improves access for almost everyone in the US. Using this payment model would be very beneficial because, again, almost everyone can access it, and it discourages doctors from recommending patients more and more treatment and can save people a lot of money. And in the US, or the US has one of the most expensive healthcare systems in the world. So having the episodic care payment model would definitely help reduce, sorry, I'm trying to think of it, would just reduce payments or costs.